Hello, welcome to Let's Play Hellenica, where we have just finally gotten past that bit of annoying thing there. Yes, it would go nicely with your squealing loudly while spraying bolts in our enemy's general direction. I don't squeal, that was my fighter yell, to strike fear into our enemies. And however good he is, he would have died if we hadn't been there to help him, not the other way around. By Zeus, what made you think to try to help an Arctos anyway? 14 years ago, when I was traveling through Greece, Is that the rumbling? That Corinthian boy must have triggered a trap. The pyramid is collapsing! Diona, if I don't make it... Don't talk like that. No, this is important. Ah! Diona! Diona! Where are you? There. You stupid brass head, drop the shield. I can't carry you and it at the same time. Spartan. Pride! Sploosh, sploosh. You're no good to me dead. I'm ordering you to drop that shield and tread water. Yes, ma'am. Good. Now keep kicking your legs. That's it. See, you're not drowning today. Hey, where'd Cyclax go? And there. Ugh! I had to rescue this boy. It looks like he hurt his head when the temple collapsed. Didn't he already have that bandage when we met him? I don't know. I think that is just part of his character design. Character design? What? You were right. It was a trap. I misunderstood when the Oracle said that Poseidon would be pleased if I claimed the Midnight Pearl from the island pyramid. She wasn't telling me that Poseidon would help me, just that he resented my hubris and wanted me drowned. I should have known it was too easy. I should have known that. Now we're going to drown beneath this endless sea, just like Corinth. Pollux, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you when the flood came. A Corinthian boy who went missing after the city was flooded. I'm so sorry. Castor. A former boxing prodigy from the flooded city of Corinth. I was wrong. Castor's the boxer. Pollux is the wrestler. He's lost consciousness. He'll need help soon, but unless we're blessed by an ocean nymph... Wait, what's that? By Poseidon! Is it a shark? If only I had my shield. How would a shield help you against a shark? It's not a shark. It's a ship. A ship that travels beneath the waves? It's amazing! Look, it's about to surface! Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Oh, it's probably a good thing. Pollux! That's an Ironsides! That's like one of the Civil War dreadnoughts. Well, I call them dreadnoughts. They were just, they were early versions of iron-plated battleships and steamships. But wow, what happened? It felt like an earthquake on the ocean floor. Are you all that survived the sinking? I thought that ship was the size of the Thalassanax. What? Is that Castor? Is my brother okay? Wow, you're Castor's brother? He's had a nasty bump on the head and lost some blood, but he should recover. Hurry, bring him on board. But who are you? And how did you find us all the way out here? And how did you build that amazing ship? By the way, where's our ship? And did you happen to see my shield down there? That'll all be explained in time. Right now we've got to get you to the safety of Atlantis. Oh my goodness. The island city that was the first to embrace the age of steam. Legends say it was sunk by Zeus for its hubris. Atlantis? I just explained this. So that's where you were taking the food when we gave you at Crete. Yes, and you still have my thanks. It helped feed my people. This place, under the sea. Wow! I thought nothing could astound me after witnessing the ancient burial chamber carved into the frozen caverns of Thule. But this city is as wondrous as a fire beneath the waves.
This isn't magic, Skillix. It's engineering. You can see some of the gears over there, and I got a good look at the steam pipes when we were docking. But still, this stuff looks at least a generation beyond anything that exists on the surface. How did they advance so quickly? Because they're Atlantis, and this is a fantasy game. Of course they're the most advanced culture in the world.
Well, they had a head start.
How long has Atlantis been here? How did you manage to build these underwater domes? Where did you get these wonderful toys? What's your fuel source?
Why in Poseidon's name would you build a city at the very center of his kingdom? But most importantly, why did you rescue? Most importantly, why did you rescue us? Despite her strict policy of isolation, our queen has a good heart. She wouldn't condemn people to drown in the sea. That's why the Corinthians are here.
Corinthians? Wait, did they come over after the flood? How did Atlantis even know what was happening?
Just hold your steam. The queen will be here shortly, and I'm sure she'll be happy to answer your questions. Your statue of the queen has a toolkit there.
A queen?
In my travels, it's only been fair Ji Wengnu who has ruled over subjects as a woman. Behold, I have traveled far distances, and have encountered many people from, Northern Europe all the way to China. Well, it's not that far-fetched, actually. Persians did travel quite a ways. What about the Amazons? My destiny never led me down that path. Oh my goodness, look at all of these dots, and you're Queen Amaya. Give me a moment, I need to take care of something that is calling my attention off screen. Okay, I'm back. Let's resume. Pollux. Are these all who made it? Well, you have a nice character design. It's a little bit more skin than necessary, but it's a beautiful design. Actually, it's quite nice, not overly done at all. I like the crown. This is pretty cool. It felt as if the whole fleet had gone down. It wasn't a ship, my queen. It was some kind of stone structure. I don't know how it was magic. Magic? Are you sure? Perhaps it was technology you were unfamiliar with? Why, when I arrived in Atlantis... No, that wasn't it. There was nothing. No pipes, no gears. I don't even think there was any metal except for a few gold decorations. But magic, keeping a whole structure like that afloat. Only the gods would be capable of something like that. It wasn't work of a god, just a mortal who thinks of himself as one. Artaxerxes.
The tyrant king of Persia. You click this a lot.
No, you don't. This is like the second time. Who? What do you mean, who? You don't know who Artaxerxes is? Don't you have any contact with the outside world?
How long have you been down here?
You talk a lot. Too long. He's the tyrant king of Persia. Yes, Artaxerxes' bloody reign over Persia has lasted nearly a decade, and now he plans on expanding his borders. We suspect he has designs on Greece. I see. Forgive our ignorance, but we strive to avoid contact with the surface world. If they were to learn we existed, probably nothing would happen. You know, I can't take that risk. Keep talking.
But then why rescue us? I mean, I'm grateful you did, but if you're so keen on keeping Atlantis a secret...
Not long before that magic stone structure collapsed, we saw a massive fleet pass overhead. Never before had we seen such an armada. They blotted out the surface like the clouds of an endless storm. Then a few hours later we felt a massive series of crashes echo along the ocean floor. This too was unlike anything we had ever felt before. We feared much of that fleet was lost. So in spite of our need for secrecy and scant food supply, we went out to rescue the survivors and bring them to the safety of our city, just as we did with Pollux and the Corinthians a decade ago. A decade ago?
A decade? Oh, that's when the flood hit Corinth, and explains how Castor's brother is here and... Castor! Pollux! Your brother is alive and he's here. Why aren't you with him?
He's at the physician's, unconscious for now.
Still, it's been so long, don't you?
What? He abandoned me ages ago, left me to drown in Corinth while he was off on his stupid boxing competition. Where has he been the past decade? Gallivanting around on his own adventures without a thought for the brother he left behind.
That's not fair, Pollux. There's no way he could have known. His whole quest to save Corinth has been because of you. He was always muttering about your name and was so determined to right his wrongs, and I'm acting like I've known him for more than, the part of a day that we met him, and he kind of talked to us rudely and then ran off to go trigger the trap that caused us all to sink, and you rescued us, and that's why we're here now. That's how he ended up in the pyramid in the middle of the ocean.
You mean Castor actually cared, but he never came looking? Mother Hawk may not sing to her chicks, but I've never doubted her affection.
Of course he cared, Pollux. He just never got around to saying it because between your boxing scuffles.
Maybe. I just don't know what I'd say to him. Sometimes the act of being at someone's side is worth more than the sweetest words of Sappho,
a Greek poet renowned throughout the ancient world for her love poetry, which featured both homosexual and heterosexual attractions. I wondered when I saw that name if they would mention that.
But it's been so long. Let's finish here, then maybe I'll see my brother. I'm sure you have more questions for the Queen or me.
Okay, so the first time they had us pull back here, I was wondering, what the hell? Because there's no options. We have no story path. We had no other people we could talk to. I think we have more skills, though. I could change what you have. I could give you another thing. And I could give you Bear Dozer. I could unlock that. I could change yours. I could give you some extra thing. What do you have? Ooh, Tribute to Ares. Oh! Yes. Please. Oh. Oh my. I'm going to take this though. Yeah. As a passive. Okay. Why do you make your Theomachini so beautiful? On the surface, machines like this would be a jumble of smokestacks, cooling tubes, and all other kinds of gizmos. Your machines look like they're sculpted or grown. And there must be so many difficulties involved in building these machines. The water pressure alone is daunting, to say nothing of how corrosive salt water is. These difficulties are the reason our machines look as they do. Since any mechanical failure might condemn our people to a watery grave, our theomechanists spend years refining their designs. This philosophy is echoed in the forms of our devices, with each infinitely arcing curve reflecting our willingness to spend decades pursuing perfection. The results are breathtaking. I don't know, the haphazard brass contraptions of the surface have their own charm.
Pout, 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 pout! I'm going to continue talking to you.
Do you know anything else about the fleet of boats that sailed overhead? There's only so much you can derive from a murky view of a bolt holes, but it was a massive fleet. Holes. Unlike anything we had seen before. There was no pattern or reason to it, almost as if several different navies had been mixed up, mashed together, and made to travel east. To the east. Towards Persia and the Pretender King. Perhaps the Spartans have gone on the offensive. If the Spartans had gone on the offensive, it would be on land, not on boats. Boats sounds more like Athens going on the offensive. With sailors like you? No way. It's much more likely to be Athens' mighty steamboat navy. But the Queen said it was all kinds of ships, which means it's a Greek navy. You mean Greece has unified against Artaxerxes, and they're launching a first strike? They underestimate the pretender king. It's an army of men against one with the powers of the gods. Then perhaps we should go even the odds. Oh, did we get a new story path? No, we did not. We do not have a new story path yet. The island pyramid was a trap. The structure collapsed, but were saved from drowning by the fortuitous arrival of Pollux, who took us beneath the waves to the mysterious city of Atlantis. Okay, we have Pollux and we have Brasidius. Let's talk to Brasidius first. Hey, Brass? Brass?
What? Oh, sorry. Are we leaving now?
No, it's just you seem kinda zoned out. You doing okay? Or do you just really like staring at the ocean?
He's lost without his shield like a turtle without his shell. Losing your shield is the ultimate mark of dishonor. It means you dropped it to run like a coward.
Yeah, but you were stranded in the ocean.
Brass, I realize that's what you've been trained to believe, but listen to yourself. I ordered you to drop that shield to keep you from drowning, and maybe it was only you at risk. Maybe if it was only you at risk, it would have been okay. But you promised you'd accompany me on my quest, and you can't do that while dead. So what do you think is more important, keeping your shield or keeping your word? You need to move on. We'll find you another shield, and within a few days you'll be smashing into foes just like you did with the old one. I guess my people can't think less of me, not after. Never mind. What matters now is that I support you in battle. Let's get going. And you should be able to do that better now that I've given you endurance. Excuse me. What do you want? This was swept into our kelp farm around the time of your shipwreck. I was wondering if you... My shield! Zeus, Ares, and all of Olympus be praised! My honor is restored. Aw, how sweet. It's just like when Alcestis returned from Hades to his wife. The Greek underworld landed it. Oh, I've already read this. That's amusing. Pollux, before you leave, we need to discuss the matter of the missing filter tanks. Why is that every time something goes missing, you blame the Corinthians? I'm not blaming, but this is the 4th time a piece of equipment has gone missing, and I want you to help me find a solution. Theft is a problem for all Atlanteans. If my people didn't live in tents, they would care a bit more about what happens to your fancy machines. Those machines keep us all alive, Pollux. They keep the air flowing, the farms producing food, Wait! You have farms underwater? What do you grow? Some kind of seaweed? Or are they air bubbles like this one? How do you... Not enough. Pollux, you know I care about the Corinthians, but not enough to let us return to the surface. The sins of Listhea drove Zeus to sink our city. Legendary Mechanist who started the Age of Steam by using her romance with Zeus to trick him into giving her the secret of steam power. Yeah, I just blinked up to look to see the new text was up because I accidentally clicked on the mouse, but I'm face palming right now. Okay. It's plausible dealing with classical Greece that a woman could steal the secret of steam power from Zeus. I'm not exactly sure Zeus would be the god you would steal steam power from. I would think that would be Hephaestus. Oh, I do not like the way... Oh, wow, that's hilarious. Okay, and maybe we were saved by the last-minute plea... And maybe we were saved by last-minute plea by Athena. Or maybe a pretty nymph drew Zeus's gaze. But in any case, we can't risk drawing his attention to us again, even if it means all who lay eyes on Atlantis can never return to the surface. Do you think she means us too? By Zeus, I hope not. Imagine being trapped here under the sea. Okay, the Atlantean device. You weren't so concerned with staying confined here when you were a child, Your Majesty. Things were different then, Pollux. I didn't have a city to look after. I wasn't responsible for so many lives. Of course, you can't inconvenience the real Atlanteans. The Corinthians are part of Atlantis too. I'm looking out for all of us. You don't seriously think Zeus would go out of his way to spare your refugees while drowning Atlantis, do you? You don't know if he even still cares about the city, Queen Amaya. I can't afford being wrong if he does. I'm sorry, Pollux, but that's a risk I just cannot take. Zeus is a bastard. I agree with it, Queen Amaya. Okay, Pollux. It seems like things got kind of intense between you and the Queen there. Oh, it's just... everything in the city seems to move at a snail's pace. I don't mean to sound ungrateful. Most of us probably would have drowned or starved if Queen Amaya hadn't given us refuge. But taking us so long to get even the most meager dwellings in this city, many of our people would rather return to the surface and start over than wait for Atlantis to finish making room for them. So you want to leave? No, I've got my own reasons to stay here, and her name is Amaya. But I can't ignore the needs of my people. The Atlanteans are so big on the isolation thing. How did Corinthians make it here in the first place? I had a friend from Atlantis once a long time ago before the tragedy of Corinth. I think her name may have been Amaya. When the storms of Poseidon's wrath began to flood Corinth, she convinced Atlantis to open its doors to Corinthians fleeing the drowning city. But I thought Atlanteans weren't supposed to have any involvement with the surface world. That was the catch. The Corinthians who accepted their offer of sanctuary had a promise to live the rest of their days in Atlantis. Never again could they see the sun of the surface, or feel the sea breeze blow through their hair, except when they're going to Crete to get food shipments. How did you become friends with an Atlantean in the first place? I thought they weren't supposed to talk to anyone on the surface. Before the tragedy of Corinth, when I was just a boy, I used to explore the surrounding sea. One day I found a girl there swimming in a kind of contraption I'd never seen before. At first she spooked and darted away. I found her again a few days later. She decided to accompany me, and we began exploring the shoreline together. Aw, that's sweet. Where is she now? Could she help sort things out with the Queen? This is me facepalming again. I'm facepalming a lot just because of the ridiculousness of this. This is an amazing game. Oh my goodness. Oh my. But Nefel is just inspiring so many facepalms. Like I said, she's an amusing character. I would hate to be stuck dealing with her. She went away a long time ago. I'd rather not speak of her anymore. So, Your Majesty, what was your argument with Pollux about? I'm sorry your first experience in Atlantis had to be that sour exchange. When I was a child, this city was much more tranquil. And when we took in the refugees from Corinth, everything changed. Refugees from Corinth? I thought most of its citizens died when Poseidon sunk the city for its hubris. How did they find their way here? The people of Atlantis could not sit idle and watch another city fall beneath the sea, so we offered them refuge. And that was the timer, so I believe it is time for a new video. Oh, you can hear it too? What are they talking about? I don't know. They seem to be talking about something about a timer and videos. I understand the roots of these words, but I don't know exactly... Well, timer I don't know. But what in the world are they talking about? Never mind, it is time for the next video.